All right. Sorry about that. We should be good now if everybody can hear me. Did some renovations over the weekend. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I want to thank the sponsors first. Some of them, this is a different segment. I want to get into some of that. But first, I want to thank Rhino Metals, Blackwater Ammunition, Galco Leather Holsters, Sig Sauer. Yeah, see, I'm getting the echo. Let me just kill. Did some renovations over the weekend. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I want to thank the sponsors first. Some of them, this is a different segment. I want to get into some of that. But first, I want to thank Rhino Metals, Blackwater Ammunition, Galco Leather Holster. All right. Sorry about that. The system, when I had the studio clean, the system kind of bounces around. Hopefully it should be working now. I had like a little bit of like a short circuit and everything. Let's see. All right. I want to thank some of the sponsors. Again, Blackwater Ammunition, Galco Leather Holsters, all the different things. Pulsar Thermal Imaging Technology, Right On Optics, Kenzie's Optics, and of course, Enforce Weapon Lights, among others. Special shout out to Scott Volkwartson. He's helping me with a couple Christmas gifts. Drunk 3PO. Well, now I know you're only sending me $5 super chats. Mics don't work and you lost your staff. You know what's funny about that is I like doing these segments alone, 3PO, and I run into some of these issues when I'm by myself. When I have my staff, I'm safe. You know, I'm in my safe place. So you're 100% right. When I try to do this myself, it goes all to hell. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. I want to take a minute. I want to thank some of the past guests. I want to say I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. Thanksgiving's my least favorite holiday for a number of reasons. I can't stand it. I absolutely hate it. It's one of those holidays I feel like is like, born out of like, let's get together with a whole bunch of people and let's just sit around and bullshit. It's like I'd rather go out to eat. But that's my take on Thanksgiving. I think it's a load of bullshit. I hate it. And it's right in the middle of the week, and then you got to go back to work on Monday. It's not like, Christmas when you get a little time to hide and you have to say hi to people you really maybe don't want to talk to. And that's my take on Thanksgiving. Now, going forward. Well, first, let's go back. I want to give a special shout out to the two Bows and Suresh, okay? I did an awesome episode. If you guys haven't checked it out with Suresh Madhaven, it was a little bit long from 221B Tactical. Great episode. A lot of good stuff in it if you haven't tuned in. Dr. Bo Hightower stopped in. Dr. Bo Hightower is a super awesome dude. Go check him out. A lot of cool stuff came out of that podcast. He's got a lot of opinions, and he wants to have them heard, but go check it out. A lot of great clips. Bo Sandoval was in a very emotional podcast. Bo is moving on to Texas A&M. He's the head strength and conditioning coach at UFC, and he's a friend of mine. And it's going to be interesting to see what Bo goes on and does. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for all of those guys at Texas A&M that are getting him because they're getting a high-quality dude. So I think that's awesome. I appreciate all you guys that share all the stuff on Twitter and everywhere else, especially all my friends that are popping in the chat. I want to get to a number of topics today. Particularly, we'll start with Kyle Rittenhouse, and I'm going to work my way all the way around. The verdict came down for Kyle Rittenhouse, and I don't think a lot of us were surprised by the verdict. And I do agree he did a very interesting interview with Tucker Carlson that was really well done. And he said that this was a trial for self-defense. Now, this young man may or may not have been coached on all this stuff, but he's doing a fabulous job answering the questions. And I think the best thing for him to do is stay a million miles away from the gun industry and from a lot of that stuff and just focus on his defense and things he's going to do in the future. If anything, starting his own, self-defense awareness group or whatever he decides to do. But I think him coming anywhere near the gun industry, which I'm sure a lot of them are going to be like, oh, we got to get Kyle Rittenhouse. You know, there was a joke running around like, who's going to be first to sign him, you know? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he's obviously going to have a couple of really big defamation suits that will probably pay out in some way. I mean, there's even potential for some criminal stuff that could come down the line if it can't be settled out in civil court. So we'll see what happens. You know, I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not an expert in that. I don't know. I could tell you this from experience. Defamation suits and libel suits are very, very hard to prove, but he's got a couple of compelling ones, especially people in elected office that have gone out and been outspoken about how they think the case should go and how they referred to him. I'm blown away that people in the media have gotten away with calling him a white supremacist. I'm blown away by that. That is a beyond. If the way Kyle Rittenhouse was handled doesn't scare the crap out of you, we're going to get to Ghislaine Maxwell. But the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, if the way he was covered doesn't scare the crap out of you, it should. For sure. You should for sure be scared of how the media was able to portray him. I mean, this was a 17-year-old kid that literally fought for his life. Now, we could debate all day as to whether or not he should have been there and this and that, and I think a lot of people agree. He's 17 years old. He never should have been there. But that doesn't mean he forfeits his rights by being there. And people have to understand, if you can't defend yourself against somebody that hits you in the head with a skateboard, forget about everything else. Have you seen the trucks on a skateboard? Does anybody know what that feels like? I'd like to take half the elected officials and hit them with the trucks on a skateboard, because that can knock you out. And then all bets are off. And I don't understand why along the way it's become so hard for people to understand that if you do something like that to somebody who's openly armed, they could take the gun from you and shoot you. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the left and the media felt this was the hill to die on, but it seems like they did. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, how it goes from here is going to be really interesting to watch. We'll see. We'll see. Now, the Ghislaine Maxwell thing. I know, Daryl, you're waiting patiently for me to get into this. The Ghislaine Maxwell thing is going to be very interesting. I don't know what they're going to release. They're not televising the actual trial. They're keeping that a little bit of a secret, but some things are going to have to come out of it. Now, they've said that the judge has already been promoted by Biden. It's supposedly Comey's daughter, if I'm hearing that correct. I don't know how all that plays in. Obviously, the timing's very convenient, but I don't know if she stayed with the case and didn't take the bump because she wants to stay with the case and handle it, and maybe she is the best person for it, or she's staying with it because she's going to sweep it under the rug or whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about that. As time goes on, I'm sure, guys and gals, more will come out. I can't speculate on what's going on right now because I just don't know enough. So as time goes on, I think I'll dig a little deeper, and I'm sure my spies will send me some stuff. I've had a lot of interesting things sent my way because of COVID. I can tell you that. I can get into some of that. People have sent me some really interesting stuff. I've read up on quite a few things regarding COVID, and I'm going to tell you guys, this whole COVID thing's getting very, very scary. And I know I haven't addressed it in a couple of weeks, but it's getting very scary. And I've been posting a little bit about it only because they're prepared to go all the way to the mat with this thing. And I think everybody out there has to be very careful how they approach some of this, how they handle themselves and what they do, because they're coming. I mean, they're not showing you riots that are going on in other countries. They're not showing you almost any other type of discord other than you need to get the vaccine, you need to get all the boosters, and if you don't, you're pretty much a criminal. Now, I'm paraphrasing some things in there, guys, but there's a few dozen people that have come through here. Tell me if I'm crazy. I mean, that's what's going on. It's a criminalization of your choice for your body. Now, let's think about that for a second. It sounds a lot like abortion. Sounds a lot like some other things that have gone on in this country over the last 20 or 30 years. But I've had a theory on it, and I've shared it with you guys many times, and I'm going to share it again. I believe this has everything to do with power. And I had a conversation, and he's probably listening to this, with a very high-level person who has some insight. And we were on the phone for about 2 hours regarding a lot of this. And I don't think I need to explain to everybody that listens to this who I talk to and who I don't talk to, but a very high-level person. And not a Trump, but a high-level person that actually works for the federal government. And they talked to me for quite a bit. And this whole thing stinks. It stinks to high heaven. It absolutely stinks. And I don't like where it's going. Now, I may have disagreed with vaccine mandates, and I may have had my misgivings with the vaccine. And I talked to some of you guys about that. I am 100% for the choice. But they're doing everything they can to criminalize you. I heard even at Allegiant Stadium, they were offering the booster when you walked in. You had to go get the booster, or you couldn't go to the game. I mean, this is getting crazy. The amount of people that have become healthcare experts. Imagine walking into a football stadium and they're forcing you to get a vaccine, and nobody is talking about this. And that's what's terrifying. So I say this to all of you in here. If you have a keyboard, if you have a pen, anything, write, talk about this stuff. You need to start talking about it. And the only thing that's going to change it, and again, I think this is a long shot to an extent, are midterm elections and the fear that maybe some certain people aren't going to get elected again. And that's the only thing that's going to stop this. I don't think the larger infrastructure bill is going to get through the Senate. I think they're going to stonewall that quite a bit. But we're in trouble. We're in real trouble. I thought about this over the weekend. I mean, there is a mass movement to reface this entire country. And everybody needs to be really understanding of that and what's happening and what's playing out. But I say this to everybody that's been through here and everybody that's coming through here. You need to chime in. You need to be active. If you like the show, like the show. If you like sharing this stuff, share it. But if we don't participate in some of this, guys, we're going to be in trouble. Don't be a voyeur. Don't be a voyeur. Get involved in some way, shape, or form, even if it's a simple share and a like. So, listen, this whole COVID thing, I'm not going to get deep into the science because I'm going to have Epicenter Nurse Erin. I'm going to be having some people on that are going to talk about some of this stuff. I'm going to have some wellness people on that know far better. And I've already had Dr. Mike Simpson on. I have people that know far better than I do. But after having Dr. Bo Hightower on and hearing some of his comments, I did do a little bit of research into a few things he brought up. And I talked to some people at high levels, as I said, that opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it's terrifying. Now, I'm going to get to my theory. I've had a theory for a very long time, and I've said this many times on air, and I want to clarify it here in the Green Room segment. This is the perfect place to do it, and I like fleshing out some of my ideas for you guys, so when you hear them in the show, you know I'm not crazy. I believe that this is all about power, and I said this to someone over the weekend, someone that's in the know. You have this power grab. Like, there is no reason for Nancy Pelosi to still be in elective office. There's no reason for it. She's 90. There is no reason for her to be doing that other than what? Power. There is no reason for Chuck Schumer to still be participating in Congress. I mean, these people, have you seen your grandparents over 80 years old? Would you put them in charge of a country? It's crazy. It's crazy. So to everybody in California that keeps electing these people and the people that keep putting these people in office, I think it was Rogan. He just did an episode with Jocko, and I caught a clip of it where they were talking about some of this stuff. And some of it was, he was being very honest. He's like, talking about Gavin Newsom, and he's just like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. I heard in California they have something like well over 50% vaccination, and they're still making them wear masks. It's crazy. And everybody knows the masks don't do anything. Now, I'm going to get to Fauci, because this is important, okay? Fauci just did an interview where he said he represents science, okay? If you have ever encountered someone, and this is real talk, guys, that had a God complex, you really don't have to look any further, okay? We all can say things like, I speak for the medical community, or I speak for that community, or I speak for this community. I like some of Jocko's stuff. I think we got to flesh out some of his policies, Legion. But I think people should be very afraid, because, and I don't mean fear in the sense that you buckle and sit in your house, but I think you got to start paying attention. You got to put your hard hat on a little bit, and you have to start to speak out, and you have to start to, if you see someone preaching some of the things that you agree with, you have to start sharing and pushing that stuff out there, guys, because I'm telling you, it's getting terrifying. I mean, to have somebody get on air and say, I speak for science, I represent the scientific community, that's basically saying, ignore your doctor, I am God. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's saying. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. So if I go to the doctor and the doctor says, you know what, John, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you should get the boosters, or you shouldn't get this or that because of this. Whatever it is, it's between me and my doctor, right? Because HIPAA still exists in this country, right? We hope. At least according to the courts, it still does in the workplace. You would think somebody would step up and say, what in the hell is going on? And I don't know if he holds that position for a lifetime or what goes on. But I'm totally convinced at this point that they've given Fauci total control. I mean, whatever he says is basically testimony, and that's it. It's word of God. So that should start to scare the hell out of people. And I did want to point out that it has not gone unnoticed the amount of non-medical professionals that have always miraculously become medical professionals before our eyes. It's kind of scary. So I just want to clarify some of my remarks. Now, coming back to the power thing again, I've said this many times on the show. There is a generational thing with power here. And let me flesh this out a little bit. There's a generational thing with power here that's playing out. I believe that the baby boomer generation, my parents' generation, is some of the worst generation ever created in the history of the universe. Horrible. Go back and look at the amount of presidents we've had from the baby boomer generation, the amount of corruption. These are people that, in my opinion, have not been hugged enough as children. They had the largest transfer of wealth from their family, the greatest generation, which are, your World War II veterans, to them. And now from Bush Jr., even Bush Sr., into Bush Jr., into Obama, into Trump, and into Biden. And I'm not going to say Republican or Democrat or split it, but wow, do these people not want to give up power? There is a lust for power in that generation. And let me explain something to Democrats that are listening, because I believe that there are some. If John Kennedy ran today, he'd be a Republican. There'd be no question about that. He'd be a Republican. He was pro-gun, okay? And I think baby boomers have started the downfall. And I think it's because of their lust for power. Okay? They have an absolute bloodlust for power. Because no one can explain to me with a straight face that Nancy Pelosi is the best candidate for that district. She's made tens of millions of dollars since being elected. And so have half of those people. And if there wasn't a great argument right now for term limits, I don't know when there is. And the people that put stock into some of these folks, whether it's AOC or some of these other folks, and they start to, take what they're saying as wisdom without reading some of the stuff that they're putting out there and some of the stuff that they're preaching and some of the stuff that they're pushing, you need to. Because it's terrifying, guys. I came out of this break after reading quite a bit and looking at some of the tea leaves and saying it needs to be put to a stop. I think Youngkin in Virginia was the first step to that. But what we do from here is tremendously critical. Remember to get out and vote, participate in the process, and share your thoughts and feelings. And if they cancel you or they cancel your account, open another account. And if they cancel that, open another account. And we have to beat it back. I do believe if midterms go the way I think they're gonna put some protective measures in there, and they have to. And I'm telling you guys right now, this is a scary, scary time. My heart of hearts thinks they went too far and common sense will creep in, but I don't know. I don't know. Now, this one is an important one. I want to get to some of the different organizations. A lot of people have asked me about the NSSF, gun policy, all these different orgs, NRA. There's so many. Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America. They're all great orgs, guys, in their own little and unique ways. But I would suggest, above and beyond money, try to get involved with them initially. Try to get involved. I've tried to get involved many times with two of those orgs that I always had the most respect for, which were in the past as a youngster, the NRA, and of course NSSF. That's come to no avail. I can tell you right now, the NSSF and NRA don't want to hear my opinion, okay? And that's fine. But I have offered to do anything I can for either of them for free. I can't say that they've been responsive in a positive way or negative way or whatever, but they don't want to hear some of the suggestions I have, so they're going to do their own thing, and that's fine, okay? I support them. They want to come up with a solution for all these different things and ways to fight them back. I bring them up and I bring them all up because I beg them not to get involved in the Kyle Rittenhouse sweepstakes. Leave that young man alone and let him figure it out. I think he's a beacon for self-defense, and he can serve a greater purpose if he's not affiliated with an organization and pushed into a box, if you will. That's just my opinion, guys. That's how I feel. As far as what orgs you want to support, because a lot of people have asked me, support the organization that you feel is going to be representing the qualities and things that you look for. Now, I'll be the first to criticize the orgs and say they don't do a great job of identifying who their core constituency is and firing that core constituency up to participate in the process. And those that do want to participate in the process, they kind of get shut out. So it is what it is. But that doesn't mean there isn't good inside of them. And that doesn't mean you can't find good inside of them. And I still, to this day, the option still exists. I will go work for either of those organizations, any of those organizations, for free. There has to be some agreements, but for free. 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 Okay? They don't want anything to do with me. That's great. I can only pass that on to my audience. I tried. Okay? But there are great ones. I know Antonio Okafor and some of the guys associated with Gun Owners of America. They do great work. Firearms Policy Coalition does great work. Go check out Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC. They all represent different things. NSSF represents the FFLs and so on and so forth. So if you're an FFL listening to this, there is good that comes out of all these orgs. You just have to find the one to participate in. Now, coming back to my theory on the baby boomer generation, a lot of the folks in charge are well into their 50s and 60s, and they tend to be a part of that generation that's a little bit like, who are you? And they're not open. You know, they're not open. I've invited some of them back on the show to gladly have some dialogue. They're welcome anytime. Anytime. I'll actually go one better. If the NSSF, GOA, NRA, FPC, any of those orgs want to come out here, not only will I put them up myself, I'll pay for their plane ticket. How about that? So it doesn't cost the org a dime. A dime. So if anyone wants to let them know, but I've offered it many, many times openly and publicly. They're welcome to come on. Now, there's my rant on that. With that being said, I got a great roster of folks coming in. I'm really excited to have on coming up. I can offer limited teasers. Drunk 3PO is coming back. 3PO is coming back. We had to move the date a little bit. I think about a week if he's still in here. I think we moved it about a week. But we've moved the date a little bit, and we're working on some other things. There could be a Gina Carano appearance. There could be some other things in the works. But that week's going to be a very busy week. We got a lot of people coming and going. A lot of great episodes planned. I'm looking forward to that. We have the flip-flop guy coming in, made famous by Scott Vilkortsen's podcast, if you haven't checked it out. He's coming out. We're going to do a little barbecue. We're going to do a flip-flop. He's going to do a podcast. I'm excited about that. Seems like an amazing dude. We spent, a little time on the phone chit-chatting, and we're going to spend some time together before we do the show, so I'm excited about that. Okay? That's going to be fun. So there's a lot of stuff kind of bubbling over in terms of episodes and things we're going to be doing. I do have a great guest coming on Thursday night. He's the owner of BJJ Fanatics. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Such a great guy. Can't wait to have him on. That's going to be a lot of fun. I do have, let me see. I want to make sure I have all the guests. I want to get a few of you involved in some of these episodes coming up, and if you have questions, I do my best to answer them. I'm going to do my best to plow through them. I want to thank Bo Sandoval again. Guys, you don't know what Bo Sandoval's meant to the show. He's not just a friend, and he's not just a guy who was a guest a couple times on the show. He really has been a tremendous help into all the UFC family and everybody that's been involved. Thank you. And I can't thank those guys enough. A lot of people have asked me if the conversation I had with Suresh during that podcast about Dana White's office was true. It's 100% true. If you get a chance to check that episode out, it's really good. Really funny stuff. He didn't mind me sharing. It's hilarious. If you get a chance, check it out. I really enjoyed it. If you guys get the opportunity, and I mean this sincerely, to step up and share any of this stuff, or like, subscribe, leave reviews, please do it. It means the world. If you get a chance to go back and ratio some of these episodes up a little bit and support the show, it goes for miles. Okay? And that doesn't mean just me. It means all the guys in Geeks and Gamers, any of the guys you see out there doing good work. You all know who I watch and pay attention to, and I love some of the stuff they're putting out there. That includes Ryan Kinnell, that includes Drunk 3PO, that includes Jeremy D-Day Cobra, that includes Jeremy at the Quartering, that includes Nerdrotic, that includes all of those guys out there. And for those of you in the firearms industry, there are some guys doing some awesome work, okay? And they're talking about some of this stuff. And they're okay talking about the Discord. I will tell you there has been a little bit of a movement to shut me up. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But I had a very adult conversation with some groups and with some folks, and was very honest. And I don't see it. Everybody's trying to have good dialogue. So with that being said, I want to talk about some of the stuff coming up. We have SCI, Safari Club International, coming to town. We have SHOT Show coming to town. A lot of people have asked me if I'm going to SHOT Show. I am. I will be there. I support the show. I believe in the show. I don't believe in the show in the scale to which they discuss it, but I believe in the show. I think it's salvageable. I think there can be some good that comes out of it. Whether or not it's worth $100,000 or $1 million, I leave that to the companies to decide. That's over my pay grade. And if people think I have power over that, I don't know what to tell you. Have I interviewed Iraqi veteran 88888? No, I have not. I've been to his event. I'm very familiar with those guys. and gals, and they're awesome people, and they're welcome on here anytime. If you want to let them know, sometimes it helps you guys if you tag me in some of the stuff. I do like some of his stuff. I wonder sometimes how some of those guys get the followings they get, because I find they really don't have any guests on. They just kind of chat. And I guess I have a lot of respect for them, because I'm not that good at just this. I'm clearly not good at just this. I like having guests. I'm more of a guest-based guy myself. But I do this to kind of flesh out some of the stuff that I talk about on the show, so you guys understand where I'm coming from a little bit better. And I appreciate, those of you that tune in that want to get a little bit more of a briefing on some stuff. That's what the Green Room segment was created for. That's the general idea, is just to kind of flesh out some of the things we discuss. But I'm open to any of those guys from the industry, and I'm friendly with a lot of them. And they're welcome anytime. They have their own platforms, and some of them kind of just stick to that, and that's cool. Like, I don't do a lot of podcasts. I don't do a lot of other people's shows. I get asked. I turn some down. I do some that I like. A lot of it has to do with timing, because this is real busy right now, and I try to do my best to make the timing work. So, there it is. I will be getting Cowboy Cerrone on at some point. That's going to happen. That will happen at some point. So Cowboy will happen. I am going to probably pursue a little bit of the off-road stuff. I am having a few off-roaders on in the coming weeks, so hopefully you like off-road sports or off-grid sports or anything that involves off-roading, because I'm interested in that space. I do want to talk briefly about a couple things. Particularly, a lot of people reach out to me and want to talk about marketing, sponsors, and everything else. I'm doing my best to get to all you guys. A few of you guys have seen some of the stuff. I get hit up a lot, and I see some of the DMs, and people are like, hey, call me, or hey, this, or send me that. I'm not saying it like I'm this big deal, guys. I'm just telling you, I'm doing the best I can to get back to some of the people. I do the best I can. I'm one person, guys. I'm one person, and I have a staff, and I have people that help me and filter me messages, and I have stuff that comes in the show page and some of the other pages. I'm doing my best to kind of see some of that stuff, but it's getting to the point where I only have so much time in the day, guys, and I'm doing the best that I can. And some of you that are in here and have been in and out of here, whether it's Ryan Kinnell, 3PO, a lot of you guys that I do talk to on a regular basis know that this doesn't stop. This phone doesn't stop. It's an all-day thing. So I do the best I can to get back to you guys, short of being glued to it. Omicron, that's a great name. What's going on? I should take a minute to address the Omicron virus. I don't know what that is. Omicron strain. I don't know much about it yet. I'm going to do a little bit of research and figure out and peel into that. I did my best getting caught up on a lot of other stuff this weekend that I was interested in. So I look forward to the next, 10 days. They're going to fly by fast and furious. There's a lot of stuff on the docket, and it's going to lead right into Christmas, which is going to be a crazy time. So I'm going to do my best to get all that content out to you guys. 3PO, it's crazy. So I do my best, the best I can to get back to folks. And those of you that do know, whether it's 3PO or Ryan Kinnell or Salty Nerd guys, any of the guys that I try to talk to, the Guns Out guys, any of the guys that reach out to me, Tactical Carl, all these different guys, among my friends, I do my best to get back to everybody if I can help it. It's not always easy, and some days do go by really quick. I feel like the days fly by like minutes, and I'm doing the best that I can do. And if I don't get to your questions, there's always time in the stream, to hit me up. But if I don't answer your DM to anybody that messages me or anything, I am trying. I go through some of them, and I try, and I have help. So thank you guys for being patient. I'm sure you guys, I don't even want to bring this one up. I'm going to get to something else. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to check out the new film Bruised from Netflix. It's a Valentina Shevchenko and Halle Berry movie. Got a chance to check it out this past weekend. Go check it out. Go support the champ. great step into movies for Valentine, and we're excited for her. So I think that's great, and I look forward to seeing where that goes for her. I appreciate that, JT. Thank you. Now the funny one, the last one, one of the things I want to bring up. I touched on this last week. The whole deal here with media coverage. And I talked a lot about this, and I got a lot of messages about the Don Lemon, Cuomo, allegations and all that stuff. I find it really funny, guys. It's just serendipitous. And I think on both sides, there's a lot of baggage, and I think there's a lot of stuff. A lot of people kind of said, yeah, people need to talk about that, or people need to bring that to light. Look, I shared an article on Twitter about a shooting. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get pushed out into the light, and that's where I lean on you guys. It's important to retweet, share, push out a lot of the stuff that we share or we put out there that we kind of come across. And I can tell you, a lot of the stuff I come across or talk about, I usually wait until I have 2 or 3 sources built into it so I can address it properly. A lot of times when I'm on the phones, I'm talking to different companies and I'm talking to different entities, and I'm getting their input, and I'm seeing kind of where the tea leaves are leading me a little bit. So hopefully it makes sense to everybody. When I do share stuff, it's not, necessarily always willy-nilly. With that being said, I hope everybody understands we need your support. Okay? We need your help on LinkedIn. We need your help on Twitter. We need your help on YouTube. We need your help on every platform, on Instagram, comments, shares, likes, reviews. Drunk 3PO just launched a podcast. Go check it out. Go support him. Go share. If there's 10 of you, go subscribe. If there's 20 of you, go subscribe. Go support it. It's important. Go check him out on all the platforms he's on. Go give him a like. I can't tell you guys enough, and I know everybody will agree that stuff is incredibly, incredibly important. And it matters. So please support and help. I don't know if you guys had a chance to prepare yourself, but Christmas is coming. If you walk in these stores, there's frickin' ornaments and crap everywhere. I went in, this is the funny part of the story. I went into Home Depot an hour after Thanksgiving, literally. And it was already Christmas. It was already Christmas. So, everybody better get out there early. There are going to be supply chain issues. There are going to be issues with getting containers into port, and there are going to be issues with being able to even buy a frickin' Christmas gift. So do the best you can and get out there early and make sure if there's someone you're buying for or something you got to do, you do it and get it done. And if there's any other 2A YouTubers or folks you want to see on, by all means, tag them or let me know. I will tell you that there are a lot of great ones out there, including Iraqi veterans, some of the others. Again, I forget about not that I forget about some of these guys, but I kind of do my best to let them do their thing. And then if they want to come on and participate in the show or they want to do some stuff, I open the door to them. So yeah, I would love that. But go check out 3PO's podcast. Go support him. He's coming to town. I'm excited to have him. I'm excited to have everybody that's coming on in the next week. And I'm excited to bring you guys some awesome content. And hopefully I live up to that. Hopefully I answered all your questions, and hopefully I fleshed out some of the arguments that I've been making the last few weeks. And hopefully, all that makes some sense. I'm not sure that it does. I don't know. The Kentucky guy is funny. I don't know him. I know of him. I don't know him. But I'll take your word for it. And some of these guys, you got to remember, I know of some of them, but they came into the scene a little bit after me. And I'm not, I came onto the scene around Demolition Ranch time. Like this is years ago. I remember those guys 10 years ago, so show my age. I want to thank everybody. Appreciate all your support. I appreciate everything you guys do. It means the world. And to everybody in here, when I do a green room segment, it's for you guys. It's for your questions. It's to talk about some of the things that I've talked about in the last week or so since I've done an episode, and to bring you guys a little bit of a fleshed out conversation. And I hope that makes sense. I did almost get a little emotional with Bo Sandoval. He's a very good friend. Go support him in his journey to Texas A&M. Appreciate that. I had Dr. Bo Hightower on, as I said earlier. Go check him out. Suresh Madhaven, 221B Tactical. He's been on in the past week. Go check him out. Go check out Drunk 3PO and everything he's got going on. I'm excited to have him on and have him talking about it. And I'd love to have some questions from you guys. We're probably going to go long. We're probably going to talk about a lot of different things, 3PO and I. So please, brush up on your 3PO. Get caught up. Thank you. I hopefully clarified everything and how I feel about the NSSF, GOA, FPC, NRA, and hopefully everybody understands. I am 100% volunteering for free to help any of those orgs. Again, within certain parameters. There would have to be some agreements. I thank you guys. I appreciate everyone that supports the show. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you had a great holiday. It's not my favorite, but I hope you had a great holiday. And I hope you guys have a great Christmas season. And if you get the chance to pop in here, or things get busy and they get hectic, and we all in here know that they do. 3PO knows they do. Ryan Kinnell knows they do. Things get busy, guys. You can still like and share and participate, even while things get busy. So please, don't put the torch down, because this is usually the time of year where they try to sneak everything in. So let's remember to stay vigilant, support, and remember to thank the sponsors. Head over to the website, go check out a complete list of the sponsors there. But I want to thank all of them that support the show. Right On Optics, Kenzie's, Pulsar, Scott Volkortsen and Volkortsen Firearms, SIG Sauer. And if you haven't checked out the SIG Fire Control Unit purchase and how all that works, amazing. Amazing. Online. Go check it out. But I can't thank you guys enough. Again, it all comes back to thanks to you guys. And that's what this episode's about. The support, the love, everything. The views, all the stuff. We had a nice bump. I guess some articles are bouncing around. Reddit, we had a little bit of a bump. We did hit 10,000. I think we hit 11,000 subs, and we kind of died after that. It was like, so it's been a long time coming. I think we were trapped at 6 forever, around 6,000, and then we kind of got a little bump in the last month or two. So not easy. Trying to stand firm, JT. We're going to do the best we can. Trying. So I appreciate all you guys. The hats still aren't for sale. Everybody keeps calling about hats. I'm going to get a wave of hats out to some people, but the hats still aren't for sale. Working on it. I don't know that I'm going to make them for sale. They're kind of a guest friend thing right now, but we'll see. I have got some messages, and I appreciate all you guys that reach out. I'm not a big merch guy. I try to do merch with a couple of brands. It's hard. It's a podcast, guys. It's a podcast. I don't expect you to be wearing tons of my merch. Go buy Drunk 3PO's merch. Go support him. But I hopefully got you guys a little more engaged. Hopefully you guys understand. Go support all these channels. Go support all these guys. Go participate in the super chats and give these guys all some love. Spread it around. It's a lot you can do. So thank you guys. We're going to sign out. I can't thank you guys enough. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the brands. I appreciate all the orgs and everybody involved. If you get an opportunity, please go check out and read up on some of the stuff I did over the weekend. It's terrifying stuff. Terrifying. Can't thank you guys enough. I'm out.